Okay, here we go. This is the podcasting demo. So what I've done here is make a quick demo of the Klingon podcast, and I'm going to let you listen to it, and then I'll kind of break down how I put it together.
Greetings. This is Vinech, your podcast for learning to speak Klingon and tutorials on conquering galaxies. Learn more at vinech.click. On today's episode of Vinech, we're going to have some really interesting interviews with some of the galaxy's leading battle stars, commanders, and scientists.
This episode is brought to you by Untitled, the galaxy's leader in battleship attire. Use promo code 0101011100 for 10% off your next order.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Vinech, your podcast for learning to speak Klingon and tutorials on conquering galaxies. Learn more at vinech.click.
Okay, so there is a bunch of stuff happening in there. Let me just zoom out by clicking the zoom button down here and give you a brief overview of the different sections, and then I'll explain how I did each of them. So the very first part I have is this part right here, and that's kind of just my intro. Most shows will have some sort of stock intro that's literally the same exact thing every single time. So I made this with 2 sound effects, and then this bottom thing right here is a voice recording. So these sound effects I literally just found straight in Soundtrap. I went over to the loops thing by clicking on this lovely purple circle, and I clicked sound effects, and then I just scrolled through all of these, listened to a bunch of them, and then when I found one I liked, I clicked it and put it where I wanted it, and by default it will repeat it 4 times, so I just went to the end, made sure my mouse was this circle thing, and then brought it over so that it's not repeating 4 times, but it's only once, and then make sure it's in the exact right spot. Here is a little tip, which is you'll notice that by default it will snap to the grid. It will only put itself, it will only allow you to put it right on one of those lines, but maybe you need it to be in between those lines. So you probably want to zoom in, but the real key here is if you hold Command on a Mac or Control on a PC or Chromebook, then you can drag it irrespective of those lines, like this. So I hold Command, click, and now I can put it exactly where I want it. I can put it right in between those lines. Cool. So yeah, so that's how I did this, and then I recorded my voice for this. You'll probably notice on these 2 samples, there's these little diagonal lines. Those are fades. So this first SFX Paris thing is a fade in, and this one is being faded out. And the way that I did that is on any clip you have, any region you have, if you go to the very edge, you'll see that circle, and then your mouse will change to this, and then you can change the length and everything of the fade in, or go to the end and click that and then change the fade out. You'll notice you have to be really particular with where you're clicking, because this is controlling the loop, which is not the same thing as this, which is controlling the fade out, which is not the same thing as this, which is controlling the end of that clip. So just be really careful to click on that little circle, and then you can control your fades. So that's how I did the fades on these 2. I'll let you hear that all together now. And then this thing is interesting. So I just recorded my voice saying that Vinech thing, that word in Klingon, which is the name of the podcast. And after I recorded it, I clicked edit, and I did voice transform, and I clicked very dark, and what that did is it took my voice and it brought it down like an octave or so. It made my voice much lower, and that's by clicking on voice transform and clicking very dark. I use that same effect on my voice for the rest of this stuff. or at least most of it. Same thing on here, this pink region. I'll let you hear it.
Greetings. This is Vinech, your podcast for learning to speak Klingon.
So I just recorded my voice, clicked edit, went to voice transform, and clicked very dark. And that's how I made that cool effect. Then let's see, right here I've got another effects thing, which was just found in the loops window somewhere in here. Clicked it, dragged it in, made sure it was not repeating 4 times. And I did this as a way to break up the different sections. So this first section, very first section right here is my little teaser, my intro. And then I have my voice doing the actual spoken intro that introduces the podcast and the subject and the URL for it. Then I did this effects thing as just a little transition. And then we moved on to this.
On today's episode of Vinech, we're going to have some...
So this is where you would put your body of your podcast, the actual meat and potatoes, the material that you're going to be including in your podcast. Mine is obviously short because I'm trying to save time and I'm not actually making a full Klingon podcast. Then I have another little sound effect, another built-in one from Soundtrap right here. And that transitions into the commercial. And the commercial sounds like this.
This episode is brought to you by the galaxy's leader in battleship attire.
And so, again, I use a vocal effect on these. I used a different one for this one, though. I clicked edit, I said voice transform, and I actually did the robot. Or excuse me, I did the alien voice. So that's how I did that. And then this right here is just a drum loop from the Soundtrap library. I just went to loops, X'd everything out. I clicked X over here, and I found drums. I went through drum loops, and when I found one I liked, I took it and I dragged it in. Whoops. I'm going to undo that by clicking undo right there. And I don't need this, so I can click on the little gear and delete track. Yes. And then this thing underneath is a synth again from here. I clicked on this and I clicked on synth and I found something I liked and I dragged it in and I adjusted my volume over here. You should know how to do this by now, but in case you don't, the volume is this knob. You click it and go straight up or straight down. Don't try to twist the knob. That won't work. Go straight up or straight down while you're holding the mouse down. And I just did that to give the commercial a little bit of background music. Then I threw in another little sound effects blast right here. And then this is my outro, again with the same effect. I recorded my voice, clicked edit, went to voice transform, and put very dark. And then I just copied my exact same outro sound effects right here. And those are literally just the same exact thing as from the beginning. So the way I did that was I clicked like this. I highlighted all 3. I did Command C because I'm on a Mac. If I was on a PC or a Chromebook, I do Control C. And then once I've copied it, I can click over here and click paste. And you'll see that was a mistake actually. It did not put it in the right rows. So I'm going to do Command Z to undo that. I could have also clicked this button. And what I need to do is I need to click this because that is the top row with the sample that's on the top. So it goes from the top. So now that I've selected this instead of this, it will paste it correctly. So now I'll try it again and click paste and it's lined up. And now I can move them all together. So there you go. There is your podcast demo. And I hope that is informative.